Good evening, friends. This is Poems from Me to You, Facebook Love number 349. I never do this as often as I want. And last week, I was thrown when Andrea Gibson died. I guess the thing about her impact, their impact, forgive me for still working on my pronouns, humbly. The thing about Andrea's impact is that the first time that I learned of Andrea Gibson was during an interview with Glennon Doyle, Abby Wambach, and Glennon's sister, Amanda Doyle. Sometime mid to late 2023, and Andrea's writing and force, their living force, had such an impact on me that I forgot that Andrea was dealing with terminal cancer. So when the world lit up with the news that Andrea had died, I was so shocked because I forgot that they were sick. The impact was so big that the reality of their life slipped my mind. There are many poets that I love, many, living and gone. But this one just knocked me. So I'd like to start with a piece by Joy Harjo called Remember, and then move to a piece by Andrea, and then to a piece by a writer writing about losing Andrea. So this will be a bit of a long one. Buckle up. And I guess before I even read that, what I want to say is the thing that keeps echoing for me is that none of us know how we touch others. None of us know what ripples out, the good and the bad, and the something that seems bad that then pushes the other person towards something better, more right. The thing that seems good in the moment that pushes towards something that doesn't benefit either. Andrea died last week, and then a day or two later, I lost a very sweet friend who died. And then a few days later, I realized that a friendship was gone. All of these are losses, and they also put spotlights on how precious things are, and part of it feels to me like realizing that the loss doesn't erase the joy that came before, and the joy is still there even in the loss. So starting with this piece by Joy Harjo, our former poet laureate. Remember. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind, remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember you are all people, and all people are you. Remember you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is. Remember by Joy Harjo. This next one is from Andrea Gibson, and if you are a writer, you are quite familiar with the sort of normal format of a poem, which tends to be written as verse. Andrea was a spoken word poet. The work was shared live, often on stage, but not necessarily. There's a lovely video from not that many months ago of Andrea reading this poem live for a documentary to their wife. Forgive me for not thinking of Andrea's wife's name. Maybe it will come to me before I'm done tonight. We'll see. This piece from Andrea is called Love Letter from the Afterlife, and it knocked me sideways when I watched the video, and it might knock me sideways while I read it right now. My love, I was so wrong. Dying is the opposite of leaving. When I left my body, I did not go away. That portal of light was not a portal to elsewhere, but a portal to here. I am more here than I ever was before. I am more with you than I ever could have imagined. So close you look past me when wondering where I am. It's okay. I know that to be human is to be far-sighted, but feel me now, walking the chambers of your heart, pressing my palms to the soft walls of your living. Why did no one tell us that to die is to be reincarnated in those we love while they are still alive? Ask me the altitude of heaven, and I will answer, how tall are you? In my back pocket is a love note with every word you wish you'd said. At night, I sit ecstatic at the loom, weaving forgiveness into our worldly regrets. All day I listen to the radio of your memories. Yes, I know every secret you thought too dark to tell me, and love you more for everything you feared might make me love you less. When you cry, I guide your tears toward the garden of kisses I once planted on your cheek, so you know they are all perennials. Forgive me for not being able to weep with you. One day you will understand. One day you will know why I read the poetry of your grief to those waiting to be born, and they are all the more excited There is nothing I want, for now that we are so close, I open the curtain of your eyelids with my own smile every morning. I wish you could see the beauty your spirit is right now, making of your pain. Your deep-seated fears playing musical chairs, laughing about with my own smile, laughing about how real they are not. My love, I want to sing through the rafters of your bones. Dying is the opposite of leaving. I want to echo it through the corridor of your temples. I am more with you than I ever was before. Do you understand? It was me who beckoned the stranger, who caught you in her arms when you forgot not to order for two at the coffee shop. It was me who was up all night gathering sunflowers into your chest. The last day you feared you would never again wake up feeling lighthearted. I know it's hard to believe, but I promise it's the truth. I promise one day you will say it too. I can't believe I ever thought I could lose you. Love letter from the Afterlife by Andrea Gibson. Yeah, it knocked me because I got lost like 3 times. I know that feeling. I've lost several people, and the one that I was closest to, especially right after she died, she visited me a lot. She would sit behind my forehead and look out through my eyes. I could feel her. She still comes now and then. Andrea obviously wrote that before they died, but it really struck me. All right, here's one from a poet named D.L. White. I think that he writes under a name sort of like Danny Boy, but this poem from his social media page is called D.L. White. And it showed up a day or 2 after Andrea Gibson died. I'm making my son's lunch when I find out you've died, cutting up carrot and cucumber while crying. He tilts his tiny head, furrows his precious brow, and asks me, Daddy, are you all right? And I remember what you said about truth. Even when the truth isn't hopeful, the telling of it is. So I tell him, no, I'm not all right. A poetry angel has taken flight, and Daddy is very sad about it. I know it sounds far-fetched, but I think he understands in the way trees understand soil. He opens his arms wide as a bridge and lunges for a hug. And I remember what you said about heartbeats. If you were to press your heart close up against somebody else's heart, eventually your hearts will start beating at the same time. I feel a desperate instinct to retreat, take my sorrow to the spare room, close the curtains, turn off the lights, hide from anyone who might dare to care about me, to lick at my collection of wounds, tired and alone. But I remember what you said about relationships. We gather each other up. We say the cup is half yours and half mine. We say alone is the last place you will ever be. I call my wife and tell her about a growing ache in my stomach, how unfair it is that a poet of such monumental importance now only exists in memories. But she reminds me what you said about death. Dying is the opposite of leaving. I want to echo it through the corridor of your temples. I am more with you than I ever was before. My heart swells, grateful, as I realize you're not gone. You're still right here in books on my shelf, videos in my feed, words etched in my skull, hope echoing through my bones. You're still here, more than ever. How lucky I am, how privileged we all are to have glimpsed your soul through a miraculous lens, a pen dipped in cosmic ink, a voice so authentic it could have been wombed in stars, an immutable spirit set wild and free. How inspiring, how wonderfully inspiring you are. I flick through your books, too afraid to land on a single page, in case the words spontaneously combust upon reading or sprout wings, escape their paper prison to be free, as words should be, with you in the afterwards. But when I'm most afraid, what I'm most afraid of is the words won't be the same shape ever again, that the weight of loss presses them into cruder, angrier creatures, that the meaning will be tainted by mourning. I feel a tension in the meat of my heart, not a rip or tear, but the start of a long pull. And it releases when it releases, the flesh will be softer, slacker. And I remember what you said about hearts. In the end, I want my heart to be covered in stretch marks. I ideate myself out of existence, as I often do when down dark. The tricksy little imp, whispering from the back seat, implores me to spin the car off a cliff to join you. And I remember what you said about grief. That every falling leaf is a tiny kite with a string too small to see, held by the part of me in charge of making beauty out of grief. So I'm writing. I don't know if it's beautiful yet. Not the way you are. Your consonants dance with your vowels. Your sentences have curves and edges. Your poetry can sail a ship or bend a spine, dress a wound or slice the moon, while mine seem edgeless by comparison. And I remember what you said about creating. We have to create. It's the only thing louder than destruction. So today, like millions of others whose hearts you squeezed, I'll create so that I'm not destroyed, and I'll let my heart break, because I remember what you said about breaking hearts. Let your heart break so your spirit doesn't. An Untitled piece by D.L. White about the death of Andrea Gibson. Ever since I was in my 20s, I feel so grief-stricken about letting people go. I don't want to let them go. I don't want to be left. I also, when I think about going myself, I don't want to leave the ones precious to me behind. I want us all together. But it's not like that. So losing a friendship, losing a musical partner, losing a poet who filled me up and made me feel seen. That's why I'm reading today. This is Poems from Me to You, and I'll see you again.